Well, I mean, I think I felt worse on Saturday, to be honest. Like, I thought we played pretty well. It's like, you know, did make some free throws in the second half. First half, that kid put on a performance. I've been doing this here for a while. I'm not sure that I've seen a kid play that well, against me in one half of the game. So, hats off to Hall. It was unbelievable. And it was hard to really game plan against what he does because the only thing we could have done better with him is like get back on defense. There was we missed, I think Bashir missed a free throw and we did not run back, and then he's now loose in the open court with Adam Miller who fouls him. So a guy that's got a game going like that, you just can't afford to have breakdowns in transition defense and give the guy more points. But credit to him. He shot it, Grab. He's 28% three-point field goal shooter on the year. He's 4 for 5 in the first half. So, great performance, individual performance. And I knew they were talented. I knew that they could score. I knew they scored 80 versus Arizona, and they've had other games like this. They can really put points on the board if they get going. So it was a tough night. It was tough. It's a hard loss.
I'm guessing those weren't the shots that you preferred in the final minute. Timeout,
well, I mean, no, I wanted to see if we could get Adam a three, and he didn't get the three initially. They guarded the play we ran well, and then from there, he's hit some big shots for us, and maybe we could have gone empty side ball screen with him and with JQ and get him rolling and maybe get some more towards the basket there, but I trust him. He's made a lot of big shots. As far as the other one with Bashir, I just don't. I said to him, I'm not sure why he didn't like reload his shot at least, or to catch it up here and then just let it go. That's not something like the shot that I've seen him take. So that wasn't the shot that I hoped he'd get. Now, if he caught it naturally and went up into a shooting motion normally, then I would say, yeah, that would have been a fine shot.
Was it frustrating? One of the best three-point shooting performances you ever had over here to come to lose again?
It's just frustrating because we've been a top 30 defense most of the year, and I feel like a dam that has holes in it, and you're just one day the offense isn't showing up for a period of the game, or in this case we couldn't stop them from scoring. We've been doing that pretty well most of the season. We had a good night, on offense for the most part, maybe a couple of bad turnovers, but that's why I feel pretty good about how we played. We just didn't win.
What are the sluggish reasons you feel particularly particularly in the second half, just things from a cohesive standpoint, just things didn't go your way? Is it just chemistry? Is it just game planning? What was the main reason you think?
They have talented players. The guy Hall, we managed to get him out of the game for a period of time, and I think we made a run to take advantage of that some. But they've been doing the same stuff. I mean, their guard Johnson is very physical, and he gets downhill, and he really does a good job of creating contact. There was a lot of contact under the basket when Bashir had an offensive rebound. There was no whistle there. That was a critical possession for us on offense, and it was reciprocated the other way when Johnson was jumping into our guys. He was getting the calls, so that's how it plays out sometimes down the stretch. But Curry can shoot it. I was more concerned about Curry and Johnson at halftime than I was Hall, because I thought those guys would be more aggressive, and we held them down good in the first half, and I knew they would try and be more aggressive, and they both made a lot of plays on offense, especially Johnson down the stretch.
It was another game where your defense, when you turned up the pressure there, got some turnovers and got a couple threes, and was that spurt that got you back in the game.
I felt like we could get almost any shot we wanted if we just were patient enough. The offense was not the problem. It was really just our lack or inability to keep them off the free throw line late in the game. We didn't come over and help the guards as they drove it. We couldn't get someone to come over and challenge it. I mean, JQ had a few blocks, but we couldn't do enough defensively. That was the problem.
You guys good? 11:30 when we get to JQ.
If you guys have another question,
How impressed have you?
I'll shut down.
How impressive has BJ been just with Josan's inavailability and how aggressive he's been playing the last couple of games? How impressive have you feel like he's been?
Yes, I liked what he's doing, scoring. He's doing great. He's really, coming into his own that way. He's put more time in. I've noticed him working since before Colorado, just getting extra reps, working on his shot, doing different things. I liked his passing tonight. He might have missed a couple guys, but he had a nice lob to JQ, and he's going to draw a lot of attention. And I think that's an underrated skill that he has that he's got to keep going to, and his ability to find his teammates. And he did that nicely with a lob to JQ at one point. JQ was fantastic too tonight, just as what he did offensively, efficiency, his using his physicality in certain matchups to score around the basket, and just guarding multiple guys. He had to guard like multiple positions like usual, 5 blocks and everything. So fantastic for him tonight.
What about Josan? Did he just aggravate that at the end of the game the other night, or?
Josan is a little bit of a pain in the ass because he is such a competitor that I've had other guys that if they, stub their toe, they might be out for a month. This guy was begging me to play, like even before Colorado. He was getting his treatment, trying to get back to the court. We had the Kansas game. He said, "Coach, I'm playing on Saturday." He looked pretty good in practice, but it's different practice and playing against freaking Baylor, on Saturday night. So, we're going to be more patient with him. When he's ready to go, then we'll bring him back.
So saving him from himself, so to speak.
Yeah, he appeared to be moving well enough, but then when you put him in that type of game against the type of athletes we're playing against and the level of teams we're playing against, it's just not. He's not there. He doesn't have the explosiveness, and that might be back by Friday, or I don't know. When I see it and I know it, then we're going to do the right thing for him, and then he'll be back.
Coach, with back-to-back close losses at home, how do you go now when it comes to executing down the stretch and making sure that when you're in those late game situations, you do a better job of getting better looks?
I don't know if we could have done any better against Baylor, to be honest. I don't know if there's a team in the country that could have done any better in late game situations, how we were able to tie that game and put it to overtime. Now, if you want to say that we didn't make some shots in overtime, that's a whole different ballgame. We had clean looks in overtime too, we just didn't make them. I don't know if that's fatigue based because guys are getting tired. In this game, yeah, we didn't get stops, and I guess our execution could have been better on offense. Thank you.
Can you talk about the evolution? Your offensive game really seems to be coming around and getting better and better each game.
Yeah, so I'm just trying to trust myself a little bit more, be a little bit more aggressive. I feel like, again, slowly but surely, I'm trying to get a little better and showing off what I can do on offense.
You got put Ari Hall. What was kind of the mindset in that matchup?
Oh, one more time.
When you were Ari Hall.
Yeah, just try and stay down on pump fakes, stop reaching a little bit, stay in front, stay solid. I could have did a lot better with that, but jumping on pump fakes. There was a couple of timely stops that I missed. There's a lot of mistakes that I made, but just gotta keep my head up and keep trying to make an impact when I have matchups like that.
Were you trying to go at him when he had the 4 fouls?
Yeah, just trying to post him up, get him out of the game if we can, and make him play a little bit more passive because, again, he's in foul trouble. If we get him out of the game, that's a big part of what was getting them going, getting their offense flowing, opening up other players. So that would have helped us a lot.
Why do you think the offense was struggling the last couple of minutes of this one?
I feel like everybody kind of tried to do it himself. Tom was taking down, it was a little more panicky. It wasn't as trusting, it wasn't as free-flowing as it was for the rest of the game. Because again, a lot of things were open for the majority of the game. I feel like we executed for the majority of the game, and it was just continue to trust each other. Sometimes that's a little rougher when it's such a close game and it's critical time. So I feel like that might have had a factor in just missing shots also.
Do you feel a lot more comfortable on the court now versus the first couple games?
I feel like I always felt comfortable on the court. I just feel like I'm just trying to play a bigger role and make a bigger impact on the game. I feel like I'm doing a little bit better at that now, just trying to stay solid, stay impactful as many plays as possible.
Jayden, in those last moments of the game when maybe the offense isn't flowing as well as it usually is it hard for you as a freshman to come in and kind of be assertive in those late moments when you got other guys and trying to get shots off as well?
I don't think so because I feel like I work on my game a lot, so I feel like I can try and find other people even if my game's not going. We can get into handoffs, we can get downhill, there's ways to get easier buckets. But I feel like mainly we couldn't get a stop at that, and I feel like that was what kind of hurt us the most. Like we kept letting them get downhill in the paint every possession being there at the end of the game, and that hurt us a lot.
You talked about players having to trust each other and that being kind of maybe more of a struggle down the stretch. What do you think are some things that might be able to help with that moving forward in terms of you guys being more kind of on the same page and trusting each other?
Just staying calm in those moments, going closer to each other, being able to pass to the next man and know that the ball will come back to you. Just being mindful of that everybody on here is a team and we're all have the same goal.
You guys are in that full press. What do you kind of do to try to keep that going into getting back on defense after you guys make shots and kind of keeping that energy and consistency around the full quarters?
Yeah, just keep an active hand, staying in play as much as possible, making it difficult to make those passes, make their offense as stagnant as possibly can. Just try and stay in passing lanes, make it so if they do beat us, they gotta do it one-on-one and make it as difficult as possible.
Your play on defense has kind of shown out, especially over these last couple weeks as Big 12 play started. What do you feel like as a team, what defensively you feel like needs to change after back-to-back games, one going to overtime and one where you give up 90+? What do you feel like needs to change from a team perspective defensively?
I feel like our rotations could be a little bit better at times and just staying solid, like kind of keeping people out of the paint, like we let a lot of paint touches happen, I feel like if we could cut that down a little better, maybe slide our feet a little better, keep them out of the paint so they can't make easy kickouts and get us in rotation so easily, then that would help us a lot.
A lot has been said about kind of ASU's adjustment to the Big 12. I know you've had limited time, but have you noticed a big difference in the physicality when transferring to the conference?
Well, I'm a freshman.
I know, but from your non-conference to conference level.
A little bit. I feel like Coach did a good job kind of packing our non-conference schedule, so we didn't really get sheltered too much in the non-conference. I felt like we got to play a couple of good teams, so I feel like we were decently well prepared for the physicality. I feel.
When you took on the Hall matchup, whose decision was that? Was that coach's or yours, or where did that kind of end up?
Well, it's usually coach's decision to match up, so they kind of have it, or they kind of decide who we're matching up against for the most part. So yeah, but I'm always open to take whatever matchups thrown at me.
One more?
It feels like you guys are either clicking on offense or maybe clicking on defense, but putting together a complete game is still maybe something that you guys are obviously working towards. What's your take on all of that in terms of the frustrating? Is it frustrating to just not have that overall consistency where you want it to be?
Yeah, well, I don't know, because again, we are working with a lower roster, it's less bodies, so maybe it's fatigue is a factor, but I feel like if we are able to stay the course the whole 40 minutes and again, keep trusting each other, making rotations, getting back after, not getting too high after stops and after we score, I feel like sometimes we stop to celebrate or we don't get back in transition, we kind of let the high of what just happened affect the next play or the other side of the ball. I feel like if we just stay grounded and keep trusting the process, I feel like we'll improve as we go forward.
All right, thanks, Shade.
Thank you.